Ooh, fancy. So I got a Fortin 33. I got a Lundgren M7. I get my inner Fredrik Thordendal going on, and I rip out the Duncan design from the guitar, and I check what the Fortin 33 sounds like with the Lundgren, with the Duncan design, on and off. If that makes sense. I phrased that weird, but you understand what I'm saying. And then we go and we listen to 33 Fortin 33s, because why not? Alright, so I've written some music so you can hear this in the mix. It's the Lundgren M7 in the BC Rich 7-string that's going into the Fortin 33, which is on full blast. Except for when it's on bass, it's just taken back a little bit, but it's on bass. The Fortin 33 is kind of getting rid of some of that low end, which doesn't make any sense on bass. And it was actually a mistake, but it was on, and I tracked, and then you know, that's what you get. I've also used the Kemper, obviously the Kemper. I'm always using a Kemper, unless I'm not using the Kemper. And it's going through a Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifier. I've chosen that because it's got that flubby Mesa low end that can be tightened real easily with a pedal like this, but also because that's what they used on Chaosphere, at least to my knowledge, that's what they used on Chaosphere. And that's one of my favorite albums. because I promised it in the beginning of the video. Here's 33 Fortin 33s. So it's time once again for the hottest gear in the hottest room, where I talk about some gear that I just chose to play on in the hottest room in the house. Got monitors, I got monitor speakers, I got a fridge over there, multiple lights, multiple interfaces, hard drives, computers, you name it, and it creates a lot of heat in this very small room. I do it for you guys. So let's talk about the Lundgren M7 pickup. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I was blown away by how similar it sounded to the much cheaper Duncan design pickup. I could not believe that. The outputs were similar, a lot of it was similar. What wasn't similar, however, was the way it responded over the neck, right? So high notes kind of jumped off a little bit better, low notes kind of felt like they had more response. The whole fretboard just had better response than the Duncan design, and that's kind of what I hoped for, but I wanted more, and especially with a pickup that's that much more expensive. What I did notice that was very beneficial was the isolation on the pickup. It definitely sounds like it's more isolated. It had a better signal to noise ratio, and you can hear that if you throw it on some good speakers. None of those laptop listening motherfuckers out there, stop doing that. Get a good set of headphones or a good set of monitor speakers and listen that way. And then you'll hear what I'm talking about the lower noise floor. You can hear it very clearly, actually. So there's that. I did hear that. Was it worth the difference in price? Well, I needed to upgrade the pickups anyway because it had a Duncan design. And no real musician's gonna be caught dead with one of those. But I'm really enjoying the Fishman Fluence pickups, and I would have gone for those, but I was curious about the Lundgren, and now I know. Now we all know. Is it worth the price? Maybe to some of you, but me personally, I think I would have gone with the Fishman Fluence instead. Now, the Fortin 33. But before that, I didn't talk about what it is, what it does, what it is, and what it isn't. One knob, one switch. That's pretty easy, and you can control the switching on the amplifier from the pedal itself. So if you have something like a Dual Rectifier that has that low end that kind of gets away from you, well, crisis averted, because Fortin 33 solves the problem. Okay, so there's that. On the low end of things, wait, maybe I should do this. On the low end of things, it cuts the signal, I think, all the way. It seemed to just get rid of all the signal, which there's not any use for. On the opposite end of the spectrum, you get 20 dB of gain. Maybe it's 22 dB of gain. You get 22 dB of gain, and the reason all the YouTubers have demoed the pedal with it all the way maxed is because, hey, that's just how it sounds the best. It just is so satisfying when you crank it all the way up, so that's why everybody's doing that. I think myself included. I didn't do a good job of showing you the range of the pedal. Nom 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 nom. But just know that all the way down, you get no signal. All the way up, you get the extra gain. And you could tell by listening to 33 of them, obviously the gain boost, but it's also EQing things. It's chopping off a whole lot of the lows. What it's also doing is there's almost a low-end gating feature that it's doing. And you don't notice that until you start combining them. That's when it's really apparent that that's what's going on. You do feel it when you're playing it, but it's almost as if you're imagining it. You don't want to believe that that's a thing that's happening, but it is. And like I said, when you hear that many of them in succession, then you realize that what you're hearing and what you're feeling is an actual thing. So I expected it to just be an EQ curve with a distortion boost, and it's not that. It's a bunch of things going on in there that are maybe more complex than what most of us imagine the pedal to be. Is the Fortin 33 worth $233.33, which is what I think I bought it for? You gotta ask yourself, well, what are you using it for? I personally just used it on something that is going to be heard on a piece of a TV thing, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because that's how I am. But it pays for itself, and I didn't use it for any kind of heavy music. It was used for something that was lightly distorted with a lot less heavy low end. You crank the bass and you crank the gain up, and all of a sudden you scare people away. You don't want to do that all the time. Maybe you do. With that said, yes, the Fortin 33 can be used for other things that aren't just gent, heavy metal, Meshuggah style, crazy, fast, or low-tuned stuff. You can use it for a lot of things. I threw some more rock-oriented stuff in the beginning so you could hear that. Put it on a bass so you could hear that. So you got that. Those are the features and my thoughts on the 33 and my thoughts on the Lundgren M7. The combination, well, you don't have to listen to me, just go listen to a Meshuggah album. This has been Hottest Gear in the Hottest Room. I'm gonna go take a shower. I'll see you later.